we'll just use this next 1 hour, the first session, as a little introduction. What I've just put together, just putting together the thoughts on why villages are important, and how we can make them smart, and what is happening actually around the world on this aspect. So actually, I think when we start this session, you'll all be surprised, about already the kind of work that is happening in India around the world. So when I talk of Indian context, this term smart village, this has been coined by Professor Dr. Priyanand Agale. So he says that if we want sustainable development, we have to start with our villages. These days we are all talking of sustainable development. We are feeling the heat of the climate change. We are seeing so many atrocities happening around us, natural disasters and all. And everyone now realizes that this is all because of the unsustainable way in which humankind has been just expanding and tapping into the sources of the natural resources. So, but we have to understand that it is not only the cities, it is also the villages also where we have to start this process. And sustainable development will start from there only, because the roads that lead to the cities, they all pass through the villages. So villages are a very indispensable part of our sustainable development. So we cannot keep on relying that we will keep on crowding our cities and exploit our natural resources. For how long? We cannot keep on doing that. So when we move towards making our villages smart and self-sufficient, so that will reduce the burden of migration to the cities also. And this is actually a replicable concept. The idea is that it can be replicated, it can be multiplied, so that we can have results in many places. So what is required for making a village smart is the intent. We should have that mindset that yes, we want to achieve it. And of course, financial support goes hand in hand. So this is one concept that was introduced by Professor Priyanand. If I go to the background, we have to understand that even today, although we are talking of urbanization, we're talking of globally, even in India also, people are moving towards urban areas. But still, over 68% of India's population still lives in rural areas. So there has been a gradual increase in migration from villages to cities. And primarily that happens because people are looking for better livelihood opportunities, for better education, for better healthcare facilities, amongst a few to name. That's why they are migrating to urban areas. So but what that has led to is a rising burden on the urban cities also, because there is so much migration happening. So because of this rising burden, we all are feeling, even in urban areas, whenever there is monsoons or anything, the way the drainage system it gives up, the way city is facing the issues of solid waste management, the way we are seeing floods, all these kind of things we are seeing. So definitely right now urban cities, we need to really sit back and just stop and think what we are doing, what we are doing. So that's why there is a need that the villages itself, they should be transformed so that they can meet all the critical and aspirational needs also of the villagers. So the villages have to be made into such entities, where people don't wish to go out of there. They should get all the facilities there itself. And whether I talk of good livelihood opportunities, good education, healthcare facility, or any development, so everything should be there in the villages. So that is very important. So that is where what will help us, since we're talking of smart villages, is the concept is to use innovative technologies. Okay. And also the idea is whatever are the service delivery models for the villages, they have to be completely revamped, they have to completely remade. So idea is that we talk of whatever is the local essence of that village, and that should be used as an advantage to the villages, so that they can earn their livelihood from there. They can see the modern all the modern amenities, and they have all the kind of service delivery models in which they can also earn their living. Economy can be boosted for the village. So what we look at are transformed villages in light of the new smart age, and that is what we call as the smart villages. So the concept, if you see, is very, very simple. The idea is to collect the community efforts. This concept cannot work if people do not come together. So the idea is the village people themselves, they have to come together for this kind of initiative. So it is a collective community effort that is there. And we need the strength of people from various streams. Every person in the village, they have their own strengths, they have their own skill set, they have their own positives. So all these things, strength, have to be put in together, and that has to be integrated with the information technology so that the rural community can be benefited. So the idea is that we use global means to address the local needs. So that is the whole idea, the basic concept. If this concept is kept in mind, so that is, I would say, the laying stone for any foundation stone for any smart village. But at the same time, what, as we said, we have to look at a holistic rural development. The idea is in total, in all aspects, whatever aspect we talk of, of a village livelihood, every aspect has to be holistically developed. Okay, we have to improve the quality of life of the people, their economic well-being. And many times, as some of you have already pointed out, we all realize that many times our villages, they are in isolated areas, they are very sparsely populated also. So the challenge here is altogether very different. When I'm saying I have to bring in all the people together, so whatever skill set we have to focus, we have to bring everyone together, use their skill sets. They are local, theirs, they will know better what can be addressed, and we have to actually give them the power of the modern IT and everything. And that's how we can bring in a holistical rural development. Now, another concept where this comes from is from the Mahatma Gandhi's vision. If you all recall, he had this vision of an Adarsh Gram, which was an ideal village, and the second concept, which is the self-reliance or the Swaraj. So, if I talk, these two terms are the basis for a smart village. So, as in Adarsh Gram, when I say ideal village, so the idea is there is social development, there is cultural development, and we are spreading motivation among the people for social mobilization, and the whole community has to be mobilized, they have to come together. So that is an adarsh gram. Okay, so an ideal village where all these aspects are happening with the community, with the participation of the people. When I talk of self-reliance Swaraj concept, the idea is that there is stress on governance. Okay, so there shouldn't be a hierarchical government, but self-governance is what individuals need to achieve in the village. Community building has to happen, and self-governance is self-reliance, is the concept which help a village to become move towards a smart village concept. So this concept, if I talk of today, right now, it has been adopted by the national, by the state, and even the local governments of India. So at all levels, there is a lot of mobilization on this concept, and the villages are being made, more and more self-reliant, more and more, Swaraj, more and more. We're talking of the Adarsh Gram now. Okay, so at all levels, there are things which are happening. Okay. So if I talk of smart villages now, the various concepts that come into play, of course, the first is the extensive use of technology. Technology has to be there. We're talking of ICT. We're talking of integrated computer technology, which has to come into play into all aspects of the village. Even renewable energy, we're talking of here, and the new technologies for renewable energy, for energy which is sustainable in nature, that has to be put into use. Okay, then there has to be an integration. See, the term is very important, integration. So we have to come up with technological advancements, all the interventions that have to come up, they have to get integrated into the fabric of the village. A village already, every village, we we'll all gather from this, ultimately all our backgrounds and all our forefathers and all our great grandfathers, we all have our roots, actually, to villages. So we all understand, every village has its own, I would say, ethos. So every village is unique in the way in which it has its culture, its heritage, its strength. So we have to integrate all the interventions, the latest facilities that we want to give to the village. They have to be integrated into the present scenario of the village. Okay, so whether I talk of infrastructure, we have to provide them infrastructure, roads, amenities, hospitals, banks, education centers. All this infrastructure has to be integrated. Then even service delivery modes, they should get proper health care. They should get, proper funding, everything. The services should come into the village. Then we have to talk of sustainable and inclusive development of all the sections. We cannot just leave behind, one or two sectors. So every sector has to get that kind of boost from this smart village initiative. Then we have to provide access to the villages, to skills, to education, to e-health. We're talking of 24 by 7 power should be there. There should be safe food which should come to the village. People should have healthy food to eat. They should not, malnutrition has to be eradicated. They have to get good food, which is safe for them, which is healthy for them. Then talking on the social aspects, we have to promote entrepreneurship. So villagers themselves, they have to become self-reliant. As we said, we need to have a service model. So entrepreneurship is what will help them, whatever skills they have in hand. Okay, how they can boost their own income, so that they can provide good, livelihood to their families. Then of course enhance security also, because we're talking of so many interventions and everything, ICT and everything. So security is also very important aspect. Gender equality, we all understand that there are still places, where gender equality is still not there. So there are places where this kind of, I would say, not a very welcome, a very unwelcome, I would say, thoughts are there. So gender equality has to be there. All the genders, they must get equal opportunities. They must get all the facilities. Okay, and even the standard of living has to be raised here. We're talking of a high standard of living. We do not want that, this is a village, people should be poor. That is not the concept. We have to give them very high standard of living also. Okay, so if they'll get all these facilities in their own villages, then only people will stop thinking of going to the urban areas. Then we have to talk of, in smart villages, we have to talk of innovative implementation models. The implementation models, what a village is implementing, that has to be innovative. And as we said, the concept should be replicable also. Many times from best practices we learn from what someone else has done. So we have to talk of, independent villages who are acting independently, yet they are well connected to themselves also, and even to the urban areas also. It's not that they are in isolation. They have access to the world. So that's what we are talking of, innovative implementation models. Then, as we said, there has to be capacity building also, even since they have to go for self governance, they have to go for Swaraj. So we are talking of Panchayati Raj capacity building. Okay, so all the democratic engagement, so all people have to get involved. The Panchayati Raj has to be strengthened. So these are, the basic concepts when we talk of a smart village. Okay, so as you see, we talk for a smart village, we're talking of food security, we're talking of democratic engagement, health, welfare, education, local business has to be boosted. So all these concepts become very important. Okay, so this is one definition I found. It was there on the internet, that somebody has very nicely defined smart, for a village. When I talk of S, I'm talking of social, skilled, simple. Okay, so there is no tolerance for caste, creed, no discrimination on gender, religion, skilled, simple living, high thinking. For M, it has been defined as moral, methodical, modern. So we are using all the, modern methods, the ideologies which were given by our forefathers, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda. All these things, are still very relevant even in today's context of villages. So in our development thing, the villages have been left behind somehow. So we have to bring them at par with now. So A, aware, adaptive, adjusting. They should be aware what is happening in the world, what is the social, what is the economic issue, how they can adapt to it, how can they adjust to this fast changing environment. Okay, they have to be responsive, they have to be ready. They should be ready to generate all resources for self sufficiency, self governance. Okay, so cooperative movements, collective wisdoms, they should be responsive. They should be participating. Then they have to be techno savvy also and transparent, so all technology and all, I'm showing you picture in each and every slide. The idea is to show you these are the pictures which are actually available from real examples. So that's where we are heading towards. We have transparent mobile usage, harmonic relations, IT, all these things are there. Okay. So when I talk of the vision of a smart village, so we talk of a community individually and collectively, they are empowered to take smart decisions, So we have to empower them, Idea is to empower them so they themselves know what solution they want, how they tackle their own problems, so that they take smart decisions, they use smart technologies for that, and they have a support of smart manpower also, and they move towards self-sufficiency. That is the vision of a smart village always. Okay, so villages communities, they are like republics only, they are independent of foreign relations, so capacity building also has to be done for long term welfare also. So the idea is we don't have to think of very short term effect. We have to do that, as I said, the last point, if you remember, was capacity building. So capacity building, we have to do that capacity building so that in long term they are all self sufficient, they have a welfare technique with them. Okay. So this smart village concept, this was actually initiated by NGO, the Eco Needs Foundation. Okay, so basically, they what you see the picture, that's some work that they have already done. Okay, so they are adopting villages. The idea is adopting a village, putting in efforts for their sustainable development. Okay, which is like providing them basic amenities like sanitation, safe drinking water, internal roads, tree plantation, water conservation, and also inculcating the moral values in the society and improving the standard of living of the villagers. So the first initiative that was taken for a smart village development, I'll show you which village that was. So that was by the Eco Needs Foundation, and that's where they adopted that particular village, and they put in so many efforts for sustainable development in terms of the basic amenities. Even the social fabric of the village was also looked into. Okay. So basically, for this concept, when we talk, the idea is we talk of five paths for the development of the village. Okay, so there are five paths we talk of. One is the retrofitting, wherein whatever is already existing structures are there. How they can be retrofitted, they can be modified, they can be beautified. And we can remove encroachments also. That is also part of this smart village concept. Then redevelopment, which means we do infrastructure development, we do redevelopment. Then third concept is the green field. Okay, which is idea is we have an environmental related development, a development which is in cognizance with the environment. We develop this village as a green field, okay, not as a brown field. Then we talk of a fifth path of development, which is the EPAN, which stands for electronic planning, focusing on communication, focusing on e-learning. Okay. Fifth path is the livelihood, that we provide livelihood, that will give them learning, that will give them skills, so that people are able to earn in the long term their own livelihoods. Okay, so basically these are the five paths, which actually were adopted for that first village that was developed as a smart village by the Eco Needs Foundation, and this is the kind of model that now everyone is following. If we are using these five paths, we can move our village towards a smart concept. Okay. So a smart village basically is a village which has all information also, not only the amenities, it also has information about its citizens, about what are the resources which are available, which services and schemes are beneficial for them. Government has lot of schemes which are there. So, as we said, people also have to be smart. They should know wherein they can benefit from the opportunities, initiatives which are around. Okay, so every household actually becomes a diversified livelihood opportunity or a micro enterprise. That is the kind of self-reliance entrepreneurship we are talking of, that every household becomes a micro enterprise. They have a diverse livelihood opportunities, they are earning their own livelihood with their own local skill set. Okay. So, as I told earlier, Professor Dr. Priyanand and Dr. Satyapal Singh Meena, okay, so they have the copyright of the smart village concept. So, the first village that was developed actually was in Rajasthan. This is a village Dhanora, and that has actually become a role model. And this was the village that was first developed as a smart village. So this is a very small and remote village of Rajasthan. Okay, so that we'll have a look at it at the end of the session also, what all initiatives were taken for this particular village. Okay. So, as I said, when I talk of the background of a smart village, at the background, the first and foremost concept is the rural development. Okay, as a rural area, we have to develop that area. Okay, so I have to find ways how I can improve the rural lives. Okay, by actually initiating participation from the people themselves. People themselves, they have to participate. Okay, many times the outsider may not understand what is the setting, what is the culture, language which is prevalent in the local area. So as such, rural people themselves, when they participate, they are able to come up with better sustainable solutions which will lead to their development. So the participation of people is very important, whatever is the aspect of the area. So people have to come and join hands for that. Okay, so traditionally, what has happened is the all the development activities, they get centered around exploitation of land, intensive natural resources such as agriculture and forestry. Mostly when we talk of development of villages, we see villages as places where you can go for all these intensive natural resource activities like agriculture and forestry, how they can be tapped into. Okay, but now what is happening is that villages are not only now centers of agriculture or forestry. There is a change in global perspective. There is so much global production networks which are there, urbanization is increasing. So even the character of rural areas is also increasing. Now rural areas are not just confined to agriculture or forest. We these days talk of rural tourism these days. That is coming up. We talk of niche manufacturers, things which only villages, there are things which only villages can manufacture. We're talking of recreation. These days, if you all might be able to relate, we all understand we're living in urban areas where there is so much of pollution, noise pollution, air pollution. Many times we are for recreation, we're going to areas which are in village areas which are very good for recreation. There is not much of pollution. We want fresh air, we want peace of mind, and this kind of concepts are also now picking up. So now rural development is not just confined to agriculture and forestry. Okay, so the idea is that we automatically link the local production with local procurement and local distribution, and provide all these facilities wherein these rural areas can actually put forward themselves as a very good enterprises also, as I said, micro enterprises, and also for the global needs of the people. Okay, so the idea is go for a very wider perspective. The rural communities, okay, they have to approach their development from a very wider perspective. Okay, so the broad range of development goals should be there, rather than just creating incentive for agriculture or resource based business. Okay, so education, entrepreneurship, physical infrastructure, social infrastructure, these are the things which villages can actually develop, and other people can take help from their resources also. So we'll see at many examples wherein villages now have become hubs of these kind of activities. Okay. So we, of course, emphasis is on locally produced economic development strategies also. Okay. So in contrast to urban regions, they may have many similarities, but rural areas, if we see, most of the rural areas, they are highly distinctive from one to another. Okay. So every village is a unique example, I would say. It is a unique ecosystem in itself. Every village has its own, skill sets, its own individuality, its own things that it can offer for itself also, I would say. The first of all idea is they develop themselves, and there is so much they can give to the world also. Okay, so we're talking of a lot of aspects these days. Just pictures I'm showing side by side so you can see what is happening. So now coming to, if we all try to just comprehend this thing, that who are the stakeholders who can make a village smart. you know so which are the stakeholders for that? So basically, the first and foremost important are the people themselves. As we said, the rural people, they themselves have to come forward for this kind of innovation. And then, of course, there are NGOs, there are non-profit organizations which are there. Then, of course, government is doing many initiatives. So there are so many things. If we see, making a village smart is more of a hand-holding process. wherein villages themselves, they have to understand the power they have, and of course with the correct amount of correct type of motivation, correct guidance, they can tap into the various government schemes and raise funds for themselves also, and NGOs can also play a big role in that. Okay. This is another example. This is a Smart Villages Research Group, an NGO which is very active throughout the world. They have done many initiatives. You'll see a lot of good work that they have done in Africa, making many villages smart there. Okay, so basically, what they talk of, their concept is off-grid communities. Communities which are off the grid, and they themselves develop everything. So just I would encourage people who are interested in this, just go online and just look for this SVRG group, and you'll see so many initiatives that they've taken. You'll get many ideas, how they have already implemented many models. Okay. Now let's talk of the various approaches. As we said, people have to get involved. Government is helping. NGOs are there. So what needs to be done? So what approach you should take to make the villages smart? Okay. So when we talk of approaches, the first and foremost is that we have to maintain the identity, the culture and heritage of the village. We don't want that we just go and say we have to make this village smart and completely transform it into something else. So identity is which is unique of that village, that has to be actually maintained, that has to be preserved. Okay. We have to plan for development based on people and assets. Okay, that's the idea, that we have to talk of what are the assets which are there, how we can develop on those, and people should develop. Okay, we must track the progress all the time. Okay, we must plan for revenue generation. As we said, they have to become self-reliant. Okay, we have to address the solid liquid waste management. That is very, very important. It should be healthcare centered, the approach. We have to provide healthcare to all the villages. Okay, so we have to prevent maternal deaths, we have to prevent infant deaths, malnutrition, all these kind of scenarios which are very common for villages, so they have to be tackled. So you see various pictures around here. We have to maintain the identity, coming up with giving them safe food, as I said, healthcare. And here you can see how recreation, and also the village with its local concept, how it is generating revenue by attracting tourism and everything. So these kind of things we are talking of. Okay, we have to go for zero dropouts from schools. We have to make sure that children are getting educated. They don't drop out from the school. Many times we see that they are saying that parents are not sending their children to school. They say we need working hands. So if they will already have good jobs and everything, good revenues coming in the home, they will definitely send their children for studying also. Okay, we have to talk of sanitation, hygiene, functional toilets, portable water, electricity. Okay, no malnutrition, no girl child marriages. We talked of gender equality. Giving them the the social advantage. Then functional bank accounts for every household. So that they are secure financially also. Okay, then green plantations along the geographic boundaries. We have to, as we said, we have to talk of green fields. We have to develop villages as green fields. There should be water conservation, harvesting, water harvesting structure should be put up everywhere. E-governance should be there. So we are talking of Suvidha Kendra and all in cities. So similarly in villages, there should be information centers, computer labs, M-Seva centers. So all these kind of e-governance techniques should be there. Okay, so every aspect that we're talking, so these things are very important. Okay, then even public transport system should be provided in the village. So people can if they want to go out of the village, they can go within the village. They have an efficient public transport system to help them. Houses for all. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Someone in the morning was saying, whenever we talk of villages, we get that picture in our mind of mud houses, hay houses, kacha houses. So that is exactly not the scenario now. Okay, so there are so many interventions that can be done, but definitely in a sustainable fashion. We have to have institutional deliveries 100%, which means the various amenities, services. So a healthcare center which is there, it should be fully functional. It should have the medicines, it should have the staff and everything. They should be able to deliver. If there is an anganwadi, there is a school, a village, or some a village school or something, they should be able to deliver. Okay, then the village should be interacting all the time, as I said, with the government, with NGOs, with social entrepreneurs, so that they can always tap into whatever opportunity is good for them. They should be aware of what are the new technologies, how they can be implemented. Okay, even the animal husbandry is a very important part of village. That can be a very good economic activity. So even for domestic animals, there should be facilities like dispensaries, veterinary hospitals. Giving power to all the villages 24/7. Okay, so with this little concept, I'll talk of one, I would say, initiative which is there throughout India, which is by the company ITC. So they have this initiative called e-Chopal. Okay, so this is one thing, which in which they're doing a lot of good work for villages to make them smart. So let me just show you what it is. Okay, so this e-Chopal basically is a model which they had specifically designed to tackle the challenges which are posed by the unique features of Indian agriculture. So this is one thing that they are addressing. If I talk of our Indian agriculture, farmers, they are producing the agriculture crops and everything. But the way how it finally comes to the market, how much the farmer is able to get out of it, what kind of income he's able to make out of it. So these are I would say challenges right now with the Indian agriculture system. Okay, so that is one specific area which ITC tried to tackle with their initiative called e-Chopal. Okay, so when we talk of Indian agriculture, we talk of fragmented farms. There are farms which are fragmented, the infrastructure is not very strong. Okay, and there are so many intermediaries which are there when I talk of a crop coming out from the farm to the users. Okay, so basically idea is that there is a vicious circle, and the concept is that people are sitting safe, they don't want to take risk. There is a low risk taking vicious cycle which is there, low investment, low productivity, weak market orientation, low value addition, low margin is there. So all these things, they lead to a vicious cycle wherein the farmer is not actually earning a lot from his produce. Okay, so and what is coming to the end user, comes through many hands, and that is something, if taken care of, can actually empower the farmer also, and actually encourage them and their generations ahead to take up farming as a profitable enterprise. Okay, so basically, what this e-Chopal talks of is that there has to be a blend of all the capabilities which are already there with the farmers. Okay, so what they have created are village internet kiosks. Okay, called sanchalaks, and these are managed by the farmers themselves. Okay, so the idea is that there is information which is readily on real time basis given access to the farmers, which is in their local language only, about the weather, the market prices, which are very important to the agriculture community. So this kind of information is made available to the farmers in their local language through these internet kiosks called sanchalaks. Okay, so on farm practices, on risk management, they are also disseminating knowledge also, and also they are facilitating the sale of farm inputs also. Okay, so this comes with embedded knowledge now. So these sanchalaks, they are helping in facilitation of the sale also of the farm inputs. Okay, even the farm produce, the purchase of the farm produce from farmers' doorsteps, even that is being facilitated now. Okay, so the idea is the farmer has the knowledge of what are the market prices, what are the trends, how I can take a little bit risk and get higher price for my produce. And even from their doorsteps, the farmers are able to do these kind of transactions. Okay, so the idea, the model here is that it makes use of the physical transmission capabilities of the current intermediaries. So the system which is already there in place of current intermediaries, so they are tapping into the capabilities of that also. They are aggregating it, the logistics, the counterparty risk, bridge financing, and at the same time they are intermediating them from the chain of information flow and market signals. So everyone has a role to play, but the idea is the farmer should have the right kind of education, the right kind of knowledge, so that the farmers can make a decision for themselves and they can get the maximum money for their farm produce. Okay, So as we are seeing here, pictures or what I'm showing you, the real-time information, as I said, customized knowledge that is provided by each opal. Okay, so farmers are able to understand what is the market demand, how they can secure the quality and productivity also. Okay, and even the aggregation of demand for farm inputs from individual farmers, that kind of facilities also there. Okay, so that they can get high quality inputs from established and reputed manufacturers also at fair prices. Okay, so even for the input that farmers require, that is also they're trying to get a good price for that also. Okay, so now as a direct marketing channel also, this is virtually linked to the mandi system also, so that they are able to discover what is the price for a given crop. Okay, so this e-chopal basically is eliminating any wasteful intermediation and multiple handling, so that is being taken care of, so that it is the best price for the producers also and for the consumers also. So a lot of transaction costs are getting reduced in this process. So idea here again, as we said, the idea is to leverage the information technology to virtually cluster all the value chain participants. So all the participants which are there, they're all actually clustered together in the value chain. Okay. So all these things, from information flow, market signals. So everyone is getting involved, but not impacting anyone in the wrong way. Okay. So if I see, before, if ITC Chopal is not there, then what is happening is for farmer, he's getting this agriculture relief is there, the stockists are there, there is input cost, then government or university or the university med department, they're giving their information about the weather, and that farmer is then, going to the money lender or going for, all these intermediaries, traders, brokers, and that's how their farm produce gets processed. But with this e-chopal system, farmers directly through sanchalaks, PC and internet, they are able to actually sell off their farm produce. Okay, so this is a very efficient supply chain model, which has been there across 10 states now for a long time. And farmers are making agriculture profitable from it, and it is empowering more than 4 million farmers. Okay, so this is more of a market-led business model. Okay, so it is trying to understand what is the market demand, putting in all the risks and everything, and that's how farmers are able to make those decisions. So this has also actually triggered a lot of competitiveness also in Indian agriculture. Okay, higher productivity has started happening, higher income, in large capacity for farmers, so that they can take more risk. There are larger investments, higher quality productivity, and there is a growth in rural income also. Okay, so then that is also leading to latent demand for industrial goods, so that continued growth of economy can happen. Okay, so we are actually seeing that this is propelling the economy into a very higher growth trajectory. Okay, so we can just understand, with the information, if is there, if the farmer has the information, farmer can do so many things. So this intervention happened in 2000. Okay, and this is one of the largest initiative among all internet-based interventions in rural India right now. Okay, 3,500 villages through 6,100 kiosks are there across 10 states: Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so farmers are being involved for the design and management of the system. As we said, you have to involve the people, make them the stakeholders, so that they understand their responsibility and they will take care of the system in a much better way. So there is active participation from them. Okay, so basically what then people start seeing these things not as interference, but more as cooperation for all practical purposes. Okay, so even going forward, what ITC is planning is to even integrate things like bulk storage, handling, transportation facilities, so that even logistics can be made more efficient. Okay, so a lot of things are happening in this way. Okay, of course, as we say, whenever something new happens, the road is not very easy. So of course there were problems which were encountered while setting up and managing each opals. Of course, infrastructure inadequacies, so infrastructure had to be built in. Power supply was a big issue, that they should be there, telecom connectivity, bandwidth, so all these things had to be taken care of. Then of course also there was a challenge to impart skills to the first time internet users. because people in the remote areas, inaccessible rural areas, they don't know how to operate this technology. So that was another challenge, to give them the skills so that they're able to use internet. Okay, so as part of this eChopal initiative, they've also taken up this power backup through batteries charged by solar panels. They have done this, upgrading the BSNL exchanges with RNS kits, installation of VSAT equipment. Even they are now talking of mobile chopals. Okay, so mobile vans and all, they are installing all these kind of facilities. Then local caching of the static content on website to stream in dynamic content more efficiently. So they're trying to build in, as far as possible, real-time information also, the smart that we talk of. So 24/7 help desk. So all these kind of initiatives are being taken up. Okay, so as we see now, other than eChopal internet kiosks, which is giving farmers the real-time access to information, they also have Chopal Pradarshan Khet demo plots, wherein they are teaching them how to become more competent with the produce and everything, raising agriculture competencies through knowledge, technology transfer. Okay, customized solution, farmer field schools they are setting up. Then another initiative by them is the Chopal Sagar procurement come retail hubs. Okay, so idea is to bring the appropriate farm and non-farm services close to the farmers' doorsteps. Okay, then they're also talking of Chopal Hath Mahotsav, Swasthya Chopal. Okay, so the idea is that expand the choice and services for evolving rural customers. Okay, so the idea is marketing also, they're looking into this aspect, if that can help the farmers in the long run. Okay, so this, as I said, Chopal Pradarshan Khet, this is picking up a lot of momentum these days. So the idea is that a lot of research and knowledge based it is. So it provides extension services which are qualitatively superior, involves proactive hand holding of farmers so that they can be productivity gains. Services are according to the local conditions. There should be timely availability of farm inputs, including credit. Then a cluster of farmer schools are set up for capturing indigenous knowledge, because farmers, they already have so much knowledge from right from their ancestors, of how the crops are to be grown. So that knowledge has to be preserved, and it has to be, actually transferred to the future generations also. Okay, so they have almost more than 90,000 production kits have been set up. Okay, so more than 11 lakh farmers right now are benefiting from this. Okay. Now let's talk of another aspect, of rural electrification, which is also a very important thing if I talk of a smart village. So since we're talking of technologies, integration of ICT and everything, so power is needed for operating all these kind of things. So this is one thing which has to be addressed. Okay. So right now, what I did was, to look through everywhere, and these are some of the examples, which I found, which people have been doing all around, in Europe, Americas, in Africa, all the rural areas which are there, how they are going about this electrification thing. So the idea is, the global modern approach this day is of off-grid communities. Okay, so the idea is they should be self-sustaining units. They should take care of their own power needs themselves. Okay, so the idea is that the policymakers, they have to be assisted. We're talking of donors, we're talking of social economic planners. So they should all come forward for this rural electrification. Okay, and this has very good, I would say, this kind of concept has found very good, examples in Asian, African, and European countries. Okay, so smart villages, they are engaged in efforts to combat the real barriers to energy access in villages. Okay, particularly in developing countries, this becomes very relevant. Okay, so the idea is technological, financial, educational methodology has to be looked into. Okay, so now everywhere people are trying to go for renewable sources in place of fossil fuels. Okay, and they talk of off-grid systems or communities, self-reliant, self-sustaining systems, which are their off-grid systems. Okay, so they're not connected to any main grid. They are off-grid. They are doing their own production and they're taking care of their own needs. Okay, so they're not, as I said, they're not relying on any main or national grid. Okay, the main power infrastructures that they are generating, so they are not part of that. Okay, so they have a particular lifestyle which is embodied by autonomous structures. Okay, they have semi or autonomous capability to satisfy the electricity demand through local power generation. Okay, so That's how they are trying to achieve autonomy there, that they locally produce the power. Okay, so this covers both mini grids for serving multiple users, and also many times they're going for standalone systems for individual appliance or user. Okay? Sometimes if need be, they can do that also. A standalone system can be there, or mostly they're going for mini grids. Okay, of course based on renewable energy sources. So that's where, now different type of mini grids, if I talk, the systems that are coming into place, the terms which are coming now are micro grid, nano grid, pico grid, so basically based on the size threshold, so the off grid approach, so these terms have become very important now. I think my computer just got hanged. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just one. Okay. Uh, just- let I'll just show one video at this point. Let's have a look at one of the video. I'm not able to actually share that particular tab, so I'll just play that video in my screen. I hope you're able to see it. Just 1 minute. Last children. Okay, so I hope you got a little idea, what people around the world are doing. So this was one example in Europe, how they're taking up this concept of smart villages, and they're actually looking at these things more for, generating revenue also. Okay, so okay. So coming back to our rural electrification, okay. So as I said, the idea is to have off-grid communicated communities, so that they have a 24/7 power source available to them and relying completely on renewable energy, not on fossil fuels. Okay. Now let's see how this smart villages concept is being implemented by the states. So right now, all these states, they are already working on this concept. So most of the states, if you see in India, they're working on this concept. Okay. Now, one I would say thing that is has been done by the government, to make this thing into more reality is the Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. Okay, so the idea is this is the model village scheme which was launched in 2014 by the government, and the idea is that each member of parliament and minister, they are to adopt a rural village and develop it into a model by 2019, the target that was given to them. And the idea is that there has to be an integrated village development. There should be personal, human, social, and economic dimension should be taken care of. Okay. So this Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, I'm sure most of you must be aware of this, wherein each parliamentarian, they are supposed to adopt one village, not from their constituency, of course. And basically, the idea is whatever is the demand of that village, that should be taken care of, inspired by the society and based on people's participation only. Okay. So the idea is that, the schemes, there are already so many schemes which are there, so they have to be implemented, the existing schemes, and certain new initiatives, of course, that can be designed for local context, which will vary from village to village. Okay, so the idea is that to create models of local development which can be replicated in other villages. So that is the reason, the government has given this task to each parliamentarian, each minister, that you please create such models which can be replicated for other villages also. Okay, so no new funds are given for this scheme. Okay, so they can be raised from many, funds which are already there. So many schemes are there. I'll be showing you a lot of schemes which are there so that you all can, have an idea that how much already funding is already out there by the government, and the idea is to tap it at the right time. Okay, so, of course, Gram Panchayat can have its own revenue. Then, finance commission grants are there. Then, a big player, which has now started coming is also the corporate social responsibility. As part of CSR, big corporates, they are also putting in funds for these kind of things. Okay, so the idea is to have from them. Now, what is happening with this kind of scheme that they are doing is they are having 50 monitorable indicators which are coming under 10 domains. So they have actually put, I would say, measurable parameters that will be monitored. The 50 parameters they've put up under 10 domains like drinking water and sanitation, education, health and nutrition, social security, rural roads, housing, electricity, clean fuel, agriculture practices, financial inclusion, digitization, livelihood, and skill development. So under these 10 domains, they've put up 550 indicators which are monitored to make a decision whether the village is getting better or not. Okay, so basically, this is one example I found for this. I just thought of giving one example. This is this Malsalomod Gram Panchayat in Narmada, Gujarat. Okay, so basically, this Gram Panchayat is managing 10 villages right now, and they have under them Eastern Tribal Belt of Gujarat, and 90%, 98% of the people are tribals here. Okay, mainly inhabited by special tribal people, Vasawas and Bhils. So basically, what they have done is this Gram Panchayat has identified the issues which are like lack of livelihood opportunities, scientific livestock management, poor health care, improper land use, groundwater depletion were the issues that these people were facing. Okay, so what now they have focused on is that they are trying to build the rural capabilities and mechanisms so that there is an end-to-end strategy, so that analysis, implementation of project can be done. Okay, so there are 4 steps in which they're trying to measure how much development has happened through community mobilization, capacity building training they are giving, baseline survey, enhanced convergence they are trying to do. Okay, so many schemes they have taken they have taken advantage of, like MGN Rega, which is the Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana pension scheme for senior citizens, then Awas Yojana, then many things that they have taken care of. So this is one example. If you all like to see, you can look at this village example. Okay, then the various initiatives, which, as I said, there are many initiatives which are there. The idea is to tap into the right kind of fund. Okay, so I'll just show you one by one. Like one is through this Jal Jeevan mission recently, which was there. So basically, the idea here is that the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, which is the Ministry of Jal Shakti, it is a department's centrally sponsored scheme, which is for National Rural Drinking Water Program. Okay, so this old scheme that was restructured and that has been given this name of Jal Jeevan Mission. So the idea is that they want to provide a functional household tap connection to every rural household by 2024. Okay, so not only households, even for schools, Anganwadi centers. Okay, the government buildings, health centers, wellness centers, community buildings, every building they're talking of, that they have to provide a functional household tap connection. Okay, so basically the idea is that also the water that will come into these taps, that has to be from a sustainable source. Like they are talking of recharge and reuse through grey water management, recycle the water, then water conservation, rainwater harvesting. Okay, regular operation and maintenance funds should be there. Okay, so that these infrastructure, once put in place, it should be maintained also. Okay, so also prioritize where, if there is drought prone area, there is desert area. So under Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, they're trying to even prioritize that which villages need more attention immediately. Okay, so this is of course based on a community approach to water. Okay, so they are saying that we have to ensure voluntary ownership among the local community. Okay, so people can, contribute through cash, through kind, or through labor, through voluntary basis, shramdan and all these kind of things. They're trying to engage the local people. Okay, then there has to be extensive information, education, communication. Okay, so empower the human resource. Okay, so that, they understand how the plumbing is to be done, electrical, water quality management, water treatment, catchment protection, all these kind of things. They're trying to involve the village people, give them the right kind of training so that they can contribute towards this cause. Okay, then of course in this under this, there is single village scheme also. Okay, and also there is a multi village scheme also for water grids, regional water supply. So many times many villages, they can come together and uh, come across a solution which can serve all of them together. Okay, so these kind of things is there. Then there are other schemes, like there is an accelerated irrigation benefits program, AIBP, which is run by the government. There is integrated child development services scheme. Then Skill India is also doing a lot of work in this area. Okay, then this is another interesting thing which I found. Department of Telecommunication, Ministry of Communication, they have this universal service obligation fund. Now the idea is there is a fund which is actually set aside, which is to provide quality and affordable mobile and digital services across the rural areas and the remote areas. Okay, so that every ruler, every area, remote area, can have access to mobile network services. They should have the knowledge how to use these things, so information is being disseminated. So this kind of fund is also available. Okay, so this will help in even improving the standard of living and the socio-economic development of the people. Then this is another scheme under digital villages in India, the BharatNet scheme. So they are working on a PPP model, public-private partnership model. So in 16 states they have launched this. Okay, the idea is that they want to close the gap which is in the funding support. Okay, so more than 19,000 crore has been approved for this. Okay, so they're trying to transform, reform the education, telemedicine, e-commerce businesses in Indian villages. Okay. Then this is another scheme, which is the 5-star village scheme, which is by the Indian Post. Basically, what they are trying to do is that all the villages, they must be covered under the postal products and services. So there are so many, apart from postage, there are so many services which post offices provide, like Sukanya Yojana, like Provident Fund, all the schemes which are there for even saving money, so all these things, so they're trying to open up branch offices in every village, and have this one office, one stop shop, the branch offices. Okay, so they are tackling three components. One is the product and service should be available of Indian postage. Then uska publicity should be there, and even marketing should be done. Okay, so that they are trying to set up all these kind of things. Okay, so various schemes like saving banks, RD accounts, NSC, KVP certificates, Sukanya Samriddhi, as I said, PPF account. Then Indian Post payment bank accounts are there. These days they have ATMs and everything is there. Postal life insurance policies, rural postal life insurance policy. Then Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. So all these things, they are trying that these things should be made available in every village. Okay, so in case a village attains universal coverage for four schemes, then they get a four-star status. If they complete three schemes, then three stars. So like this, they are giving this kind of star rating to the villages with this kind of thing. So they are doing proper campaigning, they are doing training, monitoring, they are setting up postmasters there, door-to-door awareness they are trying to do. Okay, so basically a team of 5 Gramin, the dark sevaks, they are set up in per village. So they go from village to village, every household they are going, and they are giving them all the necessary information to the village people to motivate them. Okay, then this is another program, Vibrant Villages program. Okay, so the idea here is to cover the border villages on the northern border where the population is very less. Okay, so all the existing schemes, they are trying to put together everything and put and bring the funds from the various schemes so that this Vibrant Village program can cater to the needs of the border areas. Okay, so many lot of work done in this scheme also. Okay, then there is some Mission Amrit Sarovar scheme. Okay, the idea is to conserve water for the future. Okay, so 75 water bodies in each district have been, they have worked so that they can actually rejuvenate these water bodies which are already there local. Okay, then marketing of rural products, Saras Mela, if you see, many places now government is conducting these Saras Mela, whatever is the, rural produce or anything, the local talent which is there, handicrafts, organic food, all these kind of things, they are putting up melas so that people can come and buy these things. Okay. Then NGOs are being given aids, clean villages, Mission Antayodaya. So this is basically a convergence and accountability framework so that there is resources which have been allocated to different ministries. So they should all bring in the resources together. Then also Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005. So 100 days of wage employment is being given to each villager. Okay. Then Awas Yojana Gramin. Okay, so providing a pakka house with basic amenities to every householder. Okay, so that is also being done. Okay, then there is a scheme Roshni, which is skill development scheme for tribals. Okay, so in Naxal affected 24 districts, they have put up this scheme. Then Swachh Bharat mission to put up toilets, solid waste disposal management system. Then heritage development augmentation yojana is there, Hriday. Okay, then Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana. Okay, so in under this scheme, not only they are making new roads, but also online management, monitoring, and accounting system they have set up. Okay, so online they are managing everything. They are monitoring all these things. Okay, so almost more than 3.7 lakh kilometers of roads have been laid up. Okay, and upgrading also. Then this is also very important. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. Okay, so this is part of the National Rural Livelihood Mission. Okay, so idea is that they want to add diversity to the income of rural people. Okay, so that the youth, they are getting good jobs. So they are getting everything in the village. They are giving them the required skill set. So, as a part of Make in India, Digital India, Smart City, Startup India, Stand Up Indian campaigns, even this is being integrated along with it. Okay, so they are giving different skill set to the youth so that they stay in the villages and earn their livelihood there only, and they get more variety. So there is more sustained livelihood for them. Okay, so there are so many apps which I found. so which are already there, mobile apps for citizens, so if you just have a look at it, so there are so many things which are available. Okay, so all these things are there. Three same training to rural youth for self employment. Okay, between the age 18 to 35 youth are being given training. Then women self help groups are being empowered. Okay, national rural health mission is there, so that even the poorest household, they get health facilities. Okay, then this is National Social Assistance Program, wherein they are giving pension to the old people. Okay. And also under Annapurna scheme, 10 kg of food grains per month is provided free of cost. So there are other pension schemes, disability pension scheme, widow pension scheme. So they're trying to unemployed old people, they're trying to give them this pension. Okay. Then Aam Aadmi Bima Yojana. Okay. So premium of 200 per person per annum, which is shared by central and state government. Okay. Then Kutir Jyoti program. Okay, so this is for improving the standard of living of the various classes, backward classes, scheduled tribes, and all the sections of the society. So single point electricity connections is being given to the households. Then this is Sham Prasad Mukherjee Rurban Mission. Okay, Atma Gaon ki Suvidhaएं शहर की. So the idea is they are trying to give urban style of all the facilities in the rural area itself. So that's why they're calling it Rurban. Okay, rural and urban ka they've made a mixture, Rurban. Okay, so they're trying to give all kinds of these facilities that you see. This all I've taken from actually the ministry websites and everything. So this information is available. Okay. Then Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, we know that, between children between 6 to 14, it is a fundamental right for everyone to have education. So a lot of things happening here. Then this is one example I found by government of Maharashtra, their rural development and Panchayati Raj department. They are doing this Gramo Thatan campaign, wherein they are trying to have a sustainable environment in the villages. They are trying to make villages into environmental friendly green fields. So they are doing all these kind of basic amenities, nurseries they are setting up, management of solid waste, construction of gutters, parks, buses, memory gardens, village boundaries, all these things they are trying to do. A very good example if you can go and visit their website. Okay. So as you can see, it is a sponsored scheme, and how funds are being given in different places. Okay. Then this is a new scheme which has been launched in 2023, which is the Govardhan scheme, which is the galvanizing organic bio agro resources dhan. Okay, so basically, the villages, they are trying to assist them so that they can safely manage their cattle waste, agriculture waste, and organic waste. Okay, so the villages should be able to take care of their waste themselves. Okay, so whatever is the organic material, cattle waste, hai, jaise the gobar and everything, cow dungs and everything. So all that can be put into use for biogas and for fertilizers, hai na? So that will also take care of the electricity demands also, and also fertilizers can be generated on organic basis. Okay, so this will also reduce, of course, the vector-borne diseases. Environmental sanitation will improve a lot. Okay, so this scheme has recently been announced. In Digital Village 2.0, schemes like Ayushman Bharat, Pradhan Mantri, Shram Yogi Mandhan, all these kind of things, IT ministry is actually putting in a lot of resources for this also. Okay. This is another scheme, Nutrition Smart Village. Okay, so this is under Poshan Abhiyan. So across 12 states, they have centers wherein they are giving awareness about nutrition, education. They're trying to change the behavior of the people. Since we said for smart village, the idea is to empower them for long term. They have to come up with the solution. So they have, in the mindset has to be changed. Malnutrition, bhroon hatya, and all these things, they have to be eradicated. Okay. Then this is Ladli Behan Yojana. So every month, 1,000 rupees is transferred into accounts of poor and middle class women under the scheme. So the idea is that the women should use the scheme money for betterment of their families, to buy milk, vegetable, fruits, so that the families become healthy. Okay. Then this is Swamitva scheme. Okay, so the idea is they are doing the survey of villages Abadi. So they are trying to all do the mapping with drone technology, and all that is coming into the villages now. So the idea is that even the land ownership issues and all should not be there. So clearly they're trying to do the mapping, they're trying to do the survey, so that land ownership can be done in a proper way. They are trying to give property cards, title deeds, and all to property owners, so that there is no confusion about these things, and village development can happen. Okay, so they are doing a lot of things, even bank loans. They are enabling people to buy properties, reduce property related disputes, so that planning can also happen. Okay, so the idea is to make the villages atmanirbhar. As we said, the first concept that I told you was that ideal village concept and the self reliance. So they are trying to go for land governance, inclusive society, okay, sustainable habitats, so that if they know what area is there, what can be developed into green fields, economic growth can happen, what can be designated for, production activities, what can go for agriculture activities, these kind of things they are trying to do. So if you see, there is actually, properly how they are doing preliminary activities, survey activities, pre-survey, post-survey activities, all the surveys that they're doing. So it's a quite meticulous thing that they're doing. Okay, so under this, even they are setting up modern equipment. If you see, like this is georeferencing equipment that has been set up in one of the village, and it is accurate up to 5 centimeter level accuracy. Okay, so these kind of core station public infrastructure they're trying to create in various villages. Okay, more than 500 they've already done. Okay, now, coming to our case study, as I said, the first smart village of India, which was village Dhanora of Rajasthan. Okay, so this is how the entrance of the village looks. So there was a time where the roads were littered with waste. Then there was open defecation issue was there, and now the village is now lit up with solar lights. There is pakka homes, uniform color, skill development center is there. There is a meditation center in this village, and there is even a public library. Okay, so in fact, to mark its identity as the first smart village, the locals sacrificed some of their private land holdings and build a grand entrance. So this is a 30 feet gate resembling the India gate. So they especially did this, carved it in stone and installed it. So there was so much motivation among these people. So of course, the obstacles were there. As we said, the Eco Foundation Society, the NGO that took forward this concept. Okay, so of course they had obstacle. It was difficult to mobilize the people. It wasn't easy. So they had to do a lot of meetings. So at first, people were very, very that what is the intention of this NGO? Why have they come here and everything? So they started, pitching in the women, convincing them that how they themselves have to come in and start tackling their problems. So they started with this construction of toilets at first. So they mobilized women for that. They're trying to put that concept into their mind. Okay, so through Shramdan community participation, this made first toilets. Okay, then sewerage line was set up, roads were made. Okay, so that took a lot of participation from people. They did, and you can see the kind of roads which is there now in the village. Okay, so even digital mapping was done, demarcating property lines, encroachments was removed. Okay, so even to 20 to 25 feet. Earlier it was 8 to 10 feet roads. Now they have 20 to 25 feet wide roads. Okay, so even they for connectivity to other villages they made extra roads also. Okay, so you can see, this was the first case. What kind of challenges they faced. So the kind of greenfield activities then they took up, how to conserve water, as we said, for water sustainability. They have to harvest their water. So you can see the activities which are happening. So they promoted for that. They even made a 3 kilometer long canal for water conservation. Okay, so for irrigation, this water is being used regularly. So they have abundant chemicals. They have moved to organic traditional farming practices. Even their input cost have reduced, and they're getting very good marketing from their agriculture produce. Also they're raising good money. Okay, percolation tanks they have built. So under the, as I said, there were four parts retrofitting. The first retrofitting, what they did was they restored many elevated structures, electric poles, street lightings, unke upar solar panels were made. So this was part of retrofitting. Then they made a community center also, which has 300% capacity. Now, this has become one of the, I would say, the social hanging place for the villagers. They sit together, they watch movies and everything. So they do meetings and everything. Youth like to spend time in this development center. So that's how people are accepting it, when they themselves came forward and gave the solution. Okay, there is an open library, school library, open public libraries there, information center is there. They are doing trainings there, workshops are being held there for audiovisual content. They're showing to farmers, women and kids. The kacha houses, they were changed into pakka houses. The wall villages, they were painted with motivational quotes and everything. Okay, so even villages have planted more than 5,000 fruits, herbs, medicinal species. So going for the correct. Then e-learning, as I said, was another path. So village school has the computers, livelihood opportunities now. They have built a development center for skills. So they are giving skills like tailoring, pickle, papad making. So all this with this, villages, they are very happy. They don't want to leave their village now. They have good opportunities here only. Okay, so they have an Uthan coaching center, which is a competitive coaching center. It has Wi-Fi. Therein they are giving training to the youth for public service, commission services, and everything. Okay, even social outcome now. Girl child bhroon hatya and all that has been eradicated from their village. They are not underage marriages are not happening. So whenever there is a daughter is born in the village, so every household they contribute rupees 200. From every household 200 rupees comes each household. Okay, so that money is put in the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Okay, so that is how they are encouraging now girl child in their place. Okay, so even now women, they don't have to walk to fetch water. So these are all the monetary aspects also. So budget was almost 2.5 crores that they used. Okay, so gram panchayat gave some funds. Villagers raised 20 lakh rupees. Then Coca-Cola Foundation, as part of CSR, they came forward. They donated 52 lakhs. Sun Pharma donated some money. Then local MLA MPs, they donated some money. NGO itself, the Eco Needs Foundation, they contributed. So this way they were able to put up this kind of money and develop this model village. Now this has become a model now, actually. Now this was the first smart village, and now this has become a model. Okay, so people are actually taking this up as a case study now. Okay, schools, scholars and all, they're all, so all these kind of thing they are doing. So soch badlo, gaon badlo, this is their ethos now. So this is another. Okay, so this was the first smart village. Now this is another case study I found, which is village Pansari in Gujarat. Okay, so you see, even they have a very grand opening to their village. Okay, so they had a problem: no sewage connection, no street lights, no pakka roads. There was no income of source for Gram Panchayat. Very few grants and funding was coming into this village. But then what they started doing was the transformation towards the smart village with the initiative of this person when he got the charge of this village. So what they did was they sold part of their grazing land as plotted schemes to various communities. Okay, so that's how they generated money. Then they got Wi-Fi, optical fiber broadband is there. They have classrooms with CCTV cameras. They have minibus transport systems. CCTVs are at various important junction to take care that people just don't throw litter there. Okay, they have an RO water treatment plant. So what they do is at just 4 rupees, they are supplying 20-liter can to each house. Okay, so just see the kind of technology they have done. Okay, clean road, school bus, this mini bus, there is only 1 rupee ticket for the local people. Then they have loudspeaker facilities. They have put up gutters also, primary healthcare centers. They have 8 kindergarten schools, banking facilities. They have toll-free complaint receiving phone service also. So, various things that this village Pansari has done now. People have bank accounts, women are coming out. They are doing all kind of works. Okay, so this is one example. Okay. Now coming to what is the future of smart villages, so as I said, smart villages, one is the idea is local people, they have to tackle their own problem. They have to make use of whatever funding is available, raise their own money and all, and they have to come up with the solutions. But of course, as we're talking of smart, so Internet of Things has a big role to play. We've already seen some examples. They are using drone and everything. But this is the kind of future that we are looking of, future farms, small and smart, how we can have farming data available on real-time basis. We have survey drones, we have fleet of agri bots. We are talking of future, smart tractors, which are Wi-Fi enabled. Then we have cows, they have this RFID tags, and also that there is no theft or all these kind of things, where the cow is and everything. So this is the kind of future, like we have industry 4.0, manufacturing 4.0. This is the kind of future we are looking at. Okay, smart villages also mean smart building, where buildings have security cameras, fire safety, electricity management. We're talking of smart farming, satellite data is there for farm activities. Like one example is the e-chopal that I showed you. Then smart agriculture, which means you have equipment for crop production, which is smart, smart dairy, since this is one of the main areas where villages can actually generate a lot of revenue. Okay, so remote supervision should be possible, monitoring in open fields, barns. So all this will come with smart technologies only, IoT and everything. Okay, so these kind of facilities is what we are talking of. So then smart weather and irrigation, you have weather forecast, or what will be the water level in the dams, the humidity control, and all these things that can be taken. Then smart healthcare, smart beds, smart equipment, that's what we have to provide to the villages. Smart education, interactive learning through videos. Then smart surveillance, CCTV cameras and sensors to detect robbery, we have to prevent all these things also, robberies and all. Okay, so another concept is of a climate smart village, because now we are all facing climate change, so things have become so erratic. So what is required is that the food production should stay static, it should be sustainable. So that can only happen if the food production or the agriculture activities, they become climate smart. So that is the new concept which is now coming up, nitrogen smart, carbon smart, water smart, weather smart, energy smart, knowledge smart. For all agricultural purposes we have to apply these techniques. So that's what we are talking of, various apps, and also these can be given to the people. Of course, challenges are there, no doubt. Each village is unique. There are diverse set of problems and situation. Every village, we have seen ourselves, every village has its own set of problems, and the solution lies with the people itself. So same model many times might be difficult on a very large scale, but definitely at some level, the best practices can be taken up and implemented for replication. Okay, and public-private partnership can help a big way. We've already seen one example for that. Okay, so in fact, what people are talking now is that the smart village, solutions, they can be extended even to small towns and townships. So that is what the idea is. The shift is now, there was a time where villages were considered as, not a good place, people want to leave village. Now the idea is the village should be developed and made so smart that even small towns and township, they should try to follow them. Okay, so there's various literature, some which I have taken up. So with this, I'll just stop this, and I like to show you one another video also. uh, yeah.
Life in a village has both its advantages and its downsides. Smart Villages is about rural people who take the initiative to find practical solutions, both to the downsides and to the exciting new opportunities arising locally. Smart means using every tool available. Digital technology is just one of them. It means thinking beyond the village itself, involving the surrounding countryside, groups of villages, small towns, and links to cities. Smart means building new partnerships. There is no one model for smart villages. It's about local people taking stock of local assets, drawing on the best available knowledge, and taking action. Thousands of rural communities across Europe are doing just this, often supported by EU funds. Many smart villages are responding to downsides like depopulation. But even when the population is growing, low density and an aging population makes it difficult to sustain essential rural services. For example, in Lapland, northern Finland, there are more reindeer than people, and it can take up to 16 hours of traveling to reach the capital, Helsinki. To overcome their remoteness, people in this region have launched a wide range of projects for renewable energy, broadband, distance learning, social care, and cultural activities. Take the healthcare services, for example. These projects brought routine medical consultations to the village's doorstep by means of mobile clinics and high-speed internet connections. But smart villages are also responding to emerging opportunities. In southern Germany, for example, researchers have teamed up with locals in launching digital villages, an initiative that is finding digital solutions for people living in rural areas. These platforms and apps are enhancing the local services for e-commerce, communication, and e-governance. Smart villages are also about moving on to a low-carbon economy. For instance, in Catalonia, northeastern Spain, 11 leader local action groups teamed up in developing software to monitor energy use and calculate the costs of a transition to using more renewable energy and reducing consumption. Projects like these are springing up all over Europe in fields such as transport, education, food and farming, care, energy, digitization, and many more. Rural areas are part of the solution to wider challenges. Don't wait. The opportunities are already there. Bring your community together and make the best use of your local assets.
Okay. Fine. So with this, I'll stop presenting.